The twin sons of Zorath blazed, their crimson glare searing the dunes into a rippling mirage, the air thick with the acrid tang of spent plasma and ether residue. Elias Varn stood on the outpost's ridge, the vial in his pocket pulsing like a caged star, its ether whispering promises of dominion. Each throb was a siren's call, tempting him to wield his voice of persuasion, to shape fates, to silence the chaos of war. But the visions it fed him, dark fleets massing at the galaxy's rim, Kael's new arm, a gleaming betrayer, Mira's eyes cold with distrust, were a poison he couldn't shake. His father's execution by House Vortis had forged his gift in grief, a psychic spark he'd honed to rally the Zoran, to twist enemies' minds. Now it threatened to twist him. What if the Aether's visions weren't warnings but a destiny he couldn't escape? The fear gnawed at him. Losing Kael, his brother in all but blood. Losing Mira, his Mira. Becoming the tyrant crowned on bones. Kael Dre leaned against a scorched crate, his new prosthetic arm, a patchwork of scavenged circuits and Liara's ether weaves, hissing as he tested its grip. The old one, a masterpiece from Epsilon Prime's black markets, had let him tear through hulls and hack grids with a thought. This clumsy replacement mocked him, each stutter a reminder of the battle that nearly claimed him. He'd been Elias's fire, the reckless rogue who laughed through laser fire, pulling his friend from despair after their father's death. Now, doubt festered like rust. What if this arm, this fractured thing, was his future? A warrior diminished, dragging the Zoran down. Kael clenched his fist, the prosthetic whining, and muttered,
"Ain't done yet."
But the bravado masked a deeper fear. What if his fire had burned out, leaving Elias to face the dark alone? Mira Voss emerged from the outpost's shadow, her copper hair a defiant flame against the dunes. Her hands, calloused from burying comrades, trembled faintly as she scanned the horizon. Epsilon smugglers had pledged ships, sleek corsairs armed with disruptors, but the news couldn't quiet the storm in her chest. Vortis's greed had stolen her family, her brother crushed in a mining collapse, his scream echoing in her nightmares, her parents lost to indentured voids. That grief had hardened her into the Zoran's backbone, but watching Elias wrestle his demons, seeing Kael's hidden pain, cracked her resolve. She'd whispered too many names to the stars, carried too many ghosts. What if she failed them now? Stepping toward Elias, she kept her voice steady.
Epsilon's ships are locked in. Enough firepower to hit Vortis's outer relays.
Her eyes searched his, desperate for the leader who defied Draven, not the man haunted by visions. Elias froze, the vial's pulse a drumbeat in his veins.
"Firepower won't stop what's coming,"
he said, voice raw.
"The ether shows me fleets, thousands from beyond the rift. Kael's arm, it turns on us. You turn on me."
The confession spilled like blood, exposing his terror. His voice had always isolated him, a gift that scared allies and lovers alike. Kael's reckless loyalty, Mira's shared scars had tethered him to humanity, but the Aether urged him to bend them, to seize control.
I'm scared I'll become Vordis.
He whispered, the words a wound, the vision of himself as a tyrant commanding through fear, choked him with dread. Mira's hand gripped his, fierce and grounding.
You're not Vordis.
She snapped, her voice cracking with her own buried pain.
Those visions are traps. You're the man who spared Draven's soldiers, who gave us hope.
Her grief, her brother's death, her family's erasure surged, fueling her words. But doubt lingered. Could she anchor Elias when her own heart wavered? She'd seen warriors crumble, their spirit snuffed out. What if she wasn't enough? Kael hauled himself up, his prosthetic screeching as he clapped Elias's shoulder.
Enough doom and gloom.
He growled, forcing a grin.
Liara's rigging this arm to pack a punch. I'll smash those fleets myself.
Beneath the swagger, gratitude burned for Elias's loyalty, for Mira's fire that echoed the family he'd lost in the underhives. The battle had exposed his fear of obsolescence, but their bond kindled defiance. He wasn't whole, but he'd fight to be their fire again. Liara stepped from the mid-tent, her calm eyes heavy with unspoken guilt. She'd saved Kael with Aether, but its cost haunted her. Patience lost to its side effects, their minds unraveled.
Kael's arm will hold.
She said, her voice steady.
But strength starts here.
She tapped her chest, a quiet challenge to them all. As the suns sank, painting the dunes in twilight's bruise, the Zoran gathered by the fire pit, drums weaving tales of Duke Thalion and new alliances, Epsilon's corsairs, whispers of rift clans joining the fight. Elias looked at Mira and Kael, their scars, a map of his own. The vial stayed pocketed, its whispers drowned by their voices. Kael's doubt forged into resolve, Mira's grief into defiance. A shadow loomed, fleets beyond the stars, a war to end worlds, but their embers, kindled by pain and fierce hope, burned brighter. They'd carve their path not as kings or prophets, but as Zoran, unbroken,